The following day, we took a tuk-tuk to the killing fields. The 17,000 victims who were tortured at S-21 were brought to these fields and executed. The site has 129 mass graves, 43 of which that have been left untouched, which means they don't really have an accurate count of how many bodies there are. As you walk in, there is a huge memorial stupa. When the site was excavated, they found remains of over 8,000 people. 8,000 of the skulls have been placed in the stupa and are arranged by age and sex. It's very strange to look at your sex and age group. I can't even imagine losing my life right now. And I feel terrible for those girls. After viewing the stupa, you're able to walk around the mass graves. They really just seem like big holes in the ground, but then you read some of the captions that say, mass grave of 450 victims. That number isn't quantifiable in human lives. I can think of 450 pounds or 450 pages of a book, but 450 persons just is not imaginable. In most cases, to spare bullets, victims were bludgeoned to death. In one mass grave, they found over 150 women and children. We were informed that the tree next to the grave was used as a post to smash babies against. That might be one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my life, and I can't even understand that people were capable of that. The last horrible thing that we saw was the magic tree. This tree used to have a loudspeaker strapped to it, and music would be played extremely loud to drown out the cries of victims. I personally hope that music haunts the participants of this atrocity for the rest of their lives. Surprisingly, the killing fields have a park atmosphere. You can walk around, it's kind of leisurely, there are benches. It's oddly peaceful, but it's nice that a site of such epic, devastating proportions can actually seem quite serene. It's kind of calming. One thing that Eric and I have discussed is that with our videos, people probably want a little bit more of the truth. And so I'm going to give you my true reactions to what we did while we were there and how I feel about it now. While we were at the Genocide Museum, I did pretty much everything that I could to feel where I was. And it was intense, and it felt bad. That night when I went to sleep, I had repetitive dreams of approaching that high school and being very scared and waking up. And that continued into the next night. That sucked. And when we went to the killing fields, at the stupa, you can go in and you can walk around all the sections of the stupa. So you can go to every single side and be up close and see what age group of the skulls you're looking at. And I got to the fourth wall and there was a door there, and I thought to myself, you know, I could probably connect a little bit more with this. And not really sure why I did this. I told myself to imagine people so that I could fully understand it, and I scared the crap out of myself. And I went to go out the door and I couldn't get out, and because that door was locked, so I had to go back through all the walls, all the skulls, 18,000 or 8,000 people, and that scared me a lot. And I still consistently have trouble if that pops into my head before I go to sleep. Like, I have to tell myself not to think about it. So, kind of fucked myself over there. Editing the videos now is... The first night that I went to do it, it was nighttime, I just couldn't do it. I was going to have bad dreams, and I didn't want to do that, and it's still a struggle to go to sleep because I watched one of the videos that Eric had done where we were in one of the rooms with the bed and the picture, and he'd gotten so much closer to the picture than I had ever allowed myself to when I was in the actual room, and it's just scary. Like, there's a literal bad feeling about the entire thing, and I know that most people would say, why would you do that to yourself? Well, why go to a museum and not experience it if you have the opportunity to try and understand it more than just looking at it? So, that's the truth.